Hi there. As part of our study of the external environment, A-level business students need to be aware of some of the key changes in the ways that consumers live their lives and how they buy products and services. So let's just spend a few minutes thinking about how, as part of monitoring and responding to changes in the external environment, businesses need to be aware of changes in consumer lifestyles and the so-called buying behaviour. What I've done is just very quickly added together or put down five significant changes in consumer lifestyles, and a couple of changes in buying behaviour. As we go through these, it might be worth pausing the video just to add these details to your notes. Well, let's start with consumer lifestyle. The first change there on the screen is the growth in the number of single person households. Demographic change. Data released in 2019 showed that the number of people in the UK living alone exceeded 8 million people for the first time. And in terms of percentage growth, the rise in single person households, people living on their own, actually outstripped the growth in the overall population. So roughly now around about 15%, or 1 in 8 of the UK's adult population live on their own, which obviously has implications for the goods and the services that they buy. Number 2 there on the right hand side is the increasing demand from us as consumers for convenience products and services. I'm sure you're the same as I am. Increasingly, we now expect to lead an on-demand lifestyle fueled by our love of technology, because young consumers in particular have grown up with media and services that are available at the push of a button, anytime, any place, usually via a smart device of some sort. So again, a significant change, this demand for convenience, on-demand products and services. Next two, what I've called the connected and mobile consumer. And all this really means is, as we've mentioned before there with convenience, that day-to-day life is now all about being connected. We never stray from our phones, from online purchases to mobile payments, social media interactions, streaming services and the rest. On the right hand there, perhaps as a consequence of being always on and always connected, I think you could also argue that consumers are increasingly overloaded with information. In some respects, of course, that's good news, that this wide availability of information about products and services and prices and choice. But of course, information overload is a big issue for increasing numbers of consumers. And perhaps as a consequence of this wide availability of information, many of us are becoming more suspicious of the content we come across, and we're increasingly trying to filter out the stuff that we can trust. Can we trust product reviews, consumer reviews? What information can we trust? Which brands can we trust? Has significant implications for businesses. Last one on consumer lifestyles. If you want a fifth example of a change, I would argue that as consumers, I think we're now exhibiting greater social conscience. More and more of us consider doing good for society as being a worthy activity than perhaps just buying designer goods. We're increasingly aware of where our products come from, who we buy from, how they're made, and more of us, perhaps you, certainly me, have more of an eye to the impact of the products and services that we buy on the world. There we go, those are 5 changes in consumer lifestyle. I mentioned buying behaviour. This is how we buy, where we buy. A couple of changes. We've mentioned one in passing. As consumers, we're better informed. Information overload, sure, but digital technology has made it really easy now for consumers to obtain the information they want, they need before buying, to compare. So, for example, the likes of or the use of price comparison services, customer reviews, search engines, they've transformed the buying process. And similarly, on the right hand side there, this links to the marketing mix, a wider choice of channels, distribution channels, and in particular this concept of multi-channel distribution or omni-channel distribution. Multi-channel distribution basically has widened consumer choice. We are, as customers, as consumers, now very much in control of where and how we buy. It's estimated that over 80% of consumers now research a product or services on their phones before deciding whether to buy it, and then they can decide to buy it online or in store or in some other way. So significant impact on the decisions that businesses need to make as to which distribution channels they use. There we go. Hopefully that's useful. It's a bit of a whistle-stop tour there, but hopefully useful identifying some key changes in consumer lifestyle and buying behaviour.